Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I'm Dr. Chelsea Kesty, and this is Dr. Kat Kesty. And today we're going to be doing our skincare predictions for 2026. What's in and out?
Let's do it.
All right. What's on your list as far as what's out? What's your prediction?
I would say the biggest thing that's out in 2026 is Morpheus.
Really? Why?
It's not that it's a bad treatment. I think it's a good treatment in the right hands. I think with the FDA now issuing their warning for consumers, I think that's going to drive a lot of consumers away from Morpheus. I also think the results on the face are very lackluster, if anything, even in the right hands. And I think that consumers are getting a lot smarter and more educated, and they want good before and afters from providers. And we're just unable to provide good Morpheus before and afters. I think we have much, much better technology. And I think that consumers are starting to realize this. And there's tons of complications from Morpheus in the wrong hands. So I think Morpheus will be out in 2026.
I agree with that. I don't know if Morpheus was ever in, but I agree it'll definitely be out in 2026. I think patients are smartening up to not just be influenced by celebrities who are getting X, Y, and Z treatment and actually doing their research, because lasers are becoming a lot more into the conversation as far as what we're concerned. So I agree with that.
What else is out?
I think what else is out is going under anesthesia or general anesthesia for procedures. Unless it's a facelift, I don't think it's necessary, as far as, we do blast, we do fully ablative laser. We have a great time with as far as oral sedation. Patients tolerate it well. And I just think there's a lot of risk with general anesthesia that my patients are maybe not willing to take this year. So I'm in agreement with that.
Mm-hmm. A lot more cases of complications with anesthesia as well. And more people doing lasers the way that we do lasers, which is just keeping the patient super comfortable for the whole time without the risks of, getting intubated or even, IV sedation. So I agree. General anesthesia, health. What else is out?
Probably under eye filler. A lot of my patients coming in with under eye filler that they are not liking. So I am dissolving that a lot more just because it looks unnatural, and they are starting to kind of see the bulge and creation of that kind of mold under the eye, just because that's such a thin area that any kind of volume through there, they're really noticing it. It does not look natural. So I think that's going to be out.
I couldn't agree more with you, and I'm happy to see under eye filler go to the wayside. I think that when people look fake with filler, I think people think that it's because they have too much filler in their cheeks. But to me, as a cosmetic dermatologist, where people got this idea that you shouldn't have concavity or any contour underneath the eye is just complete madness. Like, if you look at someone that's very beautiful, natural, they're going to have quite a bit of contour there. And we want that. When people say they don't like their under eyes, 99% of the time, it's not because they have contour there. It's because that skin quality is just tanking compared to the rest of the face. And Botox doesn't help with skin quality around the eyes. And they come in calling it a million things: under eye bags, blue, this, that. But in most cases, it's not a lack of filler. It's not a contour problem at all. It's a skin quality problem. And you can put any amount of dermal filler in. And sometimes they do put so much in that it's like bulging out and it looks unnatural. And then we have to dissolve it and then deal with the actual problem, which is skin quality. So
yeah, I agree. Even with like movement, when you look at the kind of like orbit, which is like where the eye sits, and then where that cheek and that junction is, so the orbital cheek junction, if you don't have any kind of depression through there, it looks extremely odd and it looks very unnatural, especially when you smile or when you make an expression. If that doesn't change, then it does not look good.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Under eye filler out. What else is out? 2026.
It's never been in my opinion, but overfilled lips is definitely going to be out. I think a lot of my patients are realizing that natural results are looking better. Even younger patients who used to say, fill more, fill more, fill more. At least I hope some of my education is working, but if not, then I hope it's at least some kind of social pressure. But overfilled lips are definitely going to be out. They just will not age well. And I do not recommend overfilling your lips. The lip lining and the mucosa is way too thin to be overfilling and putting 2 or 3 cc's in. It's not it.
Completely agree. I never thought it was it either.
I think a lot of times too, when people are overfilled, all lip contour looks the same. They're all kind of overfilled. They're just like little balloons that sit on top of the face, and that's just not Nice. You need some uniqueness to your upper contour of your lip, your bottom contour of your lip, and that's a uniqueness for you, and that should be preserved as long as possible.
Yeah, I think that would be another out for me in 2026 is just everyone looking the same. It's almost like you can tell which plastic surgeon people go to because whatever they put out is what they put out for everyone. Everyone gets their jaw shape, they look exactly the same. I think in 2026, we're going to see a resurgence of kind of the natural. People want to keep their natural facial contours, they want to improve skin quality, they don't want to have the surgery to look exactly like everyone else. When I'm talking to my patients, I call it like, do you remember that book we read when we were kids called Animorphs?
Mm.
Okay, well, there's this book called Animorphs where everyone turns into the same animal. And I call it like the Animorph effect in Hollywood, where everyone just looks the same. Like all the women now on TV look exactly the same to me because they have the exact same jaw shape, the exact same lip shape. And to me, I think that's a very like passe trend at this point. And I think in 2026, it's going to be out. We're going to see people keeping their natural, beautiful facial contours.
Yeah, agree.
Okay, let's do what's in 2026. What are you excited about?
Definitely something that's in and I think was always in, but simplified skincare. So really all you need is a good quality sunscreen. My recommendation is a tinted mineral sunscreen in the morning and then a good retinol or retinoid at night. We have the most data to support those two, and you don't need a 10-step skincare routine to kind of get you where you need to be. Unless we're addressing something else, then we can talk about that. But the simpler, the better in 2026.
Yeah, completely agree. I think consumers are wisening up to, the product of the month. We just don't need that many ingredients. Just stick to the tried and true. What else is it in 2026?
Well, I actually had a patient tell me this morning, oh, like what you're doing is evidence based. And I said, "Well, yes, my practice is always going to be evidence based. I don't perform lasers that I either don't have research on or that I don't have long term data to support the safety and efficacy of these." And I think that a lot of patients are wisening up to that. It's not just some kind of Instagram trend. It's just, this is the data that we have, and they're doing their research. They may not be reading the whole journal article, but they're definitely reading the abstract and they're reading papers that we have published or that colleagues have published. But I think people are definitely doing their research on what the evidence is to what the treatments that we're telling people. And thankfully, we know the evidence.
I like that the journals now are trending more towards like open access. So as an author, we publish primarily in journals that are open access so that patients can go and read. So if I'm citing something, that we've published, they can go on and read it for free. They don't have to pay. There's no paywall anymore. So I like that the journals are trending towards open access. So patients can actually go and read the studies or at least read the abstract and see who's publishing, okay, this person's an expert. They know what they're talking about. I'm going to let them do lasers on my face. So I agree.
What else is in 2026?
So I think in 2026, we're going to see more and more consumers learn more about skin cancer and using lasers for overall skin health. I think lasers have been in this section of the market, which is kind of a cosmetic section. So, they have a lot of great cosmetic results. But they also have a lot of medical benefits. The right lasers used the right ways, obviously. Morpheus is not going to prevent skin cancer. But, I think consumers, there's kind of this whole wellness. People want to be well. They want things that are going to prevent things. They want to stay healthy. And I think lasers are such a great addition to that. And we just have more and more data every year. I think 2026 patients and kind of consumers in the US in general are going to kind of shift how they see lasers from, oh, this is something that, my mom gets because it's a cosmetic treatment to, oh, well, both my parents had skin cancer. I'm in my 30s or 40s. Maybe I should get one laser a year because I don't want to end up having 10 skin cancers on my face, neck, and chest. So I would say, that paradigm shift in lasers from a cosmetic treatment to a medical kind of wellness prevention treatment, because we have a lot more data now showing that it treats skin cancers and can prevent skin cancer in patients. And I think we're going to see, there's actively a lot of trials going on in both skin cancer prevention and skin cancer treatment with lasers. So I'm excited about that for 2026.
Me too.
Okay, I have one more in for 2026.
What is it?
Laser blepharoplasties. I think More and more patients are finding out that you do not need to do surgery with a knife. You can do it with a laser. And I love this for consumers because they're getting just amazing, amazing results from Dr. Kesty's laser blepharoplasties, plus her full face eye rejuvenation at the same time. I think it's just an amazing option that we're going to see completely explode in 2026. So I'm excited for you. I'm excited for my patients. Not excited to you because you do really, really amazing work with the laser blepharoplasty. I would say the last thing that I think that is going to be in 2026 is before and after photos. I think patients are starting to want more and more before and after photos. They are calling out more and more people, online about how the lighting's different or the angle's different. They're getting much smarter about their before and afters. They're looking for quality in the cosmetic space. So I think we're going to see kind of a dichotomy in the market of people who can deliver that, who obviously can get those amazing before and afters, like true same lighting, same room, everything, same facial expression. So I'm really excited for that.
All right. Well, those were our predictions for the ins and outs of 2026. Let us know if you have any additions to those.
Thank you so much.